welcome to the first episode of The Interlocutors. I'm your co-host, Noah Miller.
And I'm your other co-host, Jacob Chestnut. And I think you could say that it's the inaugural...
inaugural, yes,
inaugural episode.
Of our presidential... of our presidential podcast, right? Because we will someday be president. Not like together.
Yeah, no, together.
Together, yeah.
Yeah, you and I, we're gonna merge bodies.
Co-president?
No,
we're just gonna be one president.
Yeah, we're gonna be like...
All right. Well, then we need to decide unanimously on a vice president.
Sophie.
Okay. That was the Interlocutors, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks for watching.
Or rather listening, right?
Sorry.
Now, this is a party. Yeah, this is a party. Sure, why not?
Dude, everything's a party.
This is a podcast between me, Noah Miller, and my friend...
Jacob Chestnut.
And also between Jacob Chestnut and his friend...
Noah Miller.
Yeah. That is I. And we're going to be talking about things and stuff and subjects.
Maybe stuff and things at the same time.
Topics, perhaps.
We'll
We'll consider that one.
Okay.
We feel that we should start off this podcast by talking about what the heck interlocutor means.
Yeah, what the heck does it mean?
That's a big word. That's what, 5 syllables? Interlocutor? Yeah.
Interlocutors.
Yeah, clap for it.
Yeah. How they taught us in grade school, right?
Yeah. Jacob and I are the interlocutors.
Indeed.
But to put it shortly, the interlocutors are just sort of people who participate in dialogue, right?
Mm-hmm.
We could look it up real quick. But just what the heck interlocutor is. Now, if you are to do that, is a person who takes part in a dialogue or conversation.
Thanks, dictionary.com.
Yeah, that's what we are. People who take part in dialogue and conversations.
Together.
Yeah. It almost seems like that's what podcasts should be called, really, in general.
Yeah.
Just interlocutors.
What? Why do they call them podcasts?
Yeah, that's a good question. No clue. Don't care.
Oh, okay. That's fair.
Yeah. I don't know. Probably. I can't even BS an answer, to be honest.
Oh, that's fine.
What a podcast would mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I guess we'll start off our inaugural episode of the Interlocutors, with our very first topic ever, I suppose.
Yeah.
Today, as of recording this, is April 22nd. Now, just two days ago, the world...
It was the most important holiday ever.
The world celebrated the day 420.
Oh my god.
April 20th. Now, if you live under a rock, I'll explain it. For the rest, I'll just patronize you. For a hot sec. 420 is a day to celebrate the consumption, I suppose,
of marijuana.
Or just rather marijuana in general.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, the Kush, the Mary Jane, the MJ.
The good Kush.
The good Kush. I did not take part in the 420 festivity.
Me neither. I just love getting on Snapchat and seeing all of the dumb shit people do.
Yes, we're not 420 enthusiasts by any means.
I'm enthusiastic about it, but I'm not an enthusiast.
Yeah. So let's talk about not just 420, but marijuana. I can't tell if that was a kind of semi-racist way to say that.
If we get flagged for it on YouTube, they'll tell us.
Right. Marijuana has been illegal in the United States for quite a long time. Also, you would know that if you lived under a rock. Patrick
How would you
Star,
fit under the
looking
rock?
at you.
How do you fit under a rock?
First, you gotta be a starfish.
Oh,
or
gotcha.
a hermit. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then some animals make rocks their homes. In a way.
Fascinating.
Turtles.
I wouldn't
a sort of rock of bone.
A rock that is not actually made of rock.
Yeah, minerals. I don't know. 420 marijuana. All right, we were talking about that.
Yeah.
It is only, I don't want to say only very recently, but it is.
Sounds like Probably like the 80s or something.
Yeah, probably.
Like the hippie movement.
Yeah.
Woodstock.
No, that would be 60s.
Oh,
yeah.
I don't know. Woodstock, man.
Yeah.
Whenever hard drugs became like mainstream.
Yeah. Well, you look at human history and you see a lot of hard drugs everywhere.
Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But marijuana, to many, is not a hard drug. To the government, it very much is.
Wow.
Yeah. Marijuana is currently supported by, I want to say 62%, like legalization of marijuana in the United States is currently supported by, I think, 62% of Americans.
Oh, really? I thought it was higher.
I wouldn't be surprised. There seems to be like a growing favor towards marijuana.
It's because they're growing more marijuana.
Well, there is that. And there, in my opinion, are a lot of very convincing arguments to that. Now, I want to ask you, Jacob, what are your thoughts on marijuana and the legalization of it? And perhaps you can spice it up with some 420.
Yeah, we were talking about that, weren't we?
Yeah.
I don't know. Personally, like, I'm not a user of the marijuanas.
Neither of us are.
Yeah, but I do think that it should be legalized, mostly because it's. I think I was watching a video on this or something, but there was some dude, whatever the shaky disease is it like Parkinson's?
I want to say Parkinson's or something like that.
Whatever the shaky disease is.
Uneducated.
Yeah, man.
18-year-olds.
All right. Whatever the shaky disease is, I don't know, the dude hit a joint and was just chilling after like 10 minutes.
The dude hit a joint and was chilling after 10 minutes.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
And I think
that is to say, his symptoms were he got some reprieve.
Yeah. So he could just like, he was just chilling out on a couch, you know. He kicked his feet up and he like drank a glass of water without spilling it on himself.
No, this wouldn't happen to me. What's the guy? Michael J. Fox?
No.
Who has the shaky disease?
No.
Yeah.
It's not Michael J. Fox.
I would echo that same opinion on that.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of, I don't want to say a lot of things legal in the United States, but I think there are a lot of strange laws, just as in every country. We can't even legally have those eggs, the Kinder eggs, in the United States.
What the heck is a Kinder egg?
You know what a Kinder egg is?
No.
A Kinder egg, it's like a chocolate from, I want to say, Germany. A chocolate company, Kinder meaning child, at least.
That's weird.
Yeah. And they're egg-shaped chocolate, and on the inside is a little toy that you can play with. Now
why are those outlawed?
Because there are food laws in the United States where you can't sell foods with, or confectionery items with inedible objects baked inside of them.
Why?
Right? It's one of those things that are like, I guess that makes sense. Like if you think about putting plastic in a cake, you know.
What?
But when it comes to Kinder eggs, if you bite it down into a Kinder egg, and your teeth hit that bag, and you don't know not to swallow, maybe it's survival of the fittest that you should choke on.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but
right.
But I guess I could understand. Gee, I don't know.
There are Kinder egg sort of, I don't want to say knockoffs because they're from the same company, but they're like legal Kinder eggs in the United States where there's like a plastic thing that you tear off, take the toy out, and then eat the chocolate. So it's not technically baked into it.
Why?
Right.
Dude, people should just not swallow toys.
Agreed.
I feel like that's just common sense.
Someone had to. I think someone had to. There had to be like a big problem with that. Probably, that probably comes from like the Gilded Age laws.
Yeah.
Where God only knows what they were putting in the sausage back then. Let me offer that one book. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. Speaking of things baked, we were talking about marijuana.
Dude, the conversation just kind of goes,
You know what? That's kind of how podcasts have to be.
Yeah.
Right. We are getting our sea legs with this podcast. You and I have never been.
Yeah, getting our toes wet.
Yeah, getting our toes wet, our sea legs.
Yeah.
I don't really know what all that
right.
means, but
it's a lot of yar-har and fiddle-dee-dee, but I don't know.
Anywho, it's kind of an easy thing to argue, in my opinion, because we have tobacco companies in the United States that debatably have like they have much more lax laws. That's for certain. You know, I mean, you can legally sell it, so of course it stands to reason that they're a lot more lax.
Yeah.
But when you look at marijuana, there are health risks with it. But, you know, tobacco already kills a lot of people, and kills a lot more people than legal marijuana.
When was the last time you ever heard of marijuana killing someone, other than like them getting shot by somebody who wanted it?
Yeah. I've never heard of like. I haven't really heard of like someone smoking marijuana unless it was like laced with something that hurt them.
It's like straight THC. I don't think I've ever heard of anyone dying from that.
Yeah. I don't know if there has ever been I think I've heard once that there isn't a recorded case of like THC.
Actually, I was watching a video on this. I watched a lot of videos.
Yeah.
Some of them happen to be on weed.
It's the 21st century.
Yeah.
We watch videos.
And you would have to smoke, and this is just smoking, edibles, it's a whole different story, but you would have to smoke something like 1,000 grams of marijuana in 10 minutes to overdose on it.
If you can do that, I applaud you.
I mean, you'll be dead, but like we also applaud you.
Yeah, I mean, you went out in probably one of the craziest ways anyone could go out.
You know what? And if you went out that way, at least you know when you went out, you felt good.
You were high as a kite. Higher. I mean, you were at the International Space Station.
Yeah. maybe even beyond that.
Beyond a satellite of Earth, the moon.
You're just kind of floating around.
Yeah. You see like this guy in the night sky. You point up to it and it's going over. And it's like, oh, you see that? It's Frederick. The man who was the only person in history to overdose on marijuana.
And he's so high, he's just chilling, man.
Yeah.
He's like floating on a cloud.
Yeah. Now there are health risks with marijuana. We are not.
Oh no.
Yeah, we are not ones to neglect.
Oh sure.
At least I like to think. Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Driving while under the influence of marijuana is dangerous, but so is drunk driving, and you know
people still do that.
Yeah, you don't. We've had our run-ins with banning alcohol, America as a country, and we don't do that anymore.
Prohibition.
Right. And I would predict that our nation as a whole comes back around on marijuana.
Well, I mean, I think we're moving there already. Generally speaking, it's been the Democrats who have been like the more, I use this in quotation marks, progressive ones, and the ones kind of pushing for more, I don't know, things legalized.
Lax laws surrounding marijuana.
Yeah, and just surrounding substance.
Yeah, and they're by no means they're not the only party.
Well, right, and actually, I think I may have mentioned this to you the other day about the top, and I used that in quotation marks as well, the top Republican senator is now fostering a bill.
Right. He used to be the Speaker of the House, I believe, right?
What is, like, Mitch McConnell? Yeah, it's Mitch McConnell. I was going to say Matthew McConaughey, and he's not a Republican senator.
Yeah. He, that guy.
Yeah.
Mitch McConnell. I believe he once said he could not be convinced to legalize marijuana, and now he's pushing a bill through the House, is it?
Mm-hmm.
For legalization of marijuana, and it's interesting. There's almost, one could say, bipartisan support. For marijuana legalization. I mean, 62%. We're just going to run with that number, 62%.
I think the only thing really stopping us right now is the fact that the GOP is in office.
Right. Yeah, we have a party who has traditionally opposed the legalization of marijuana in power in all three branches of government. Yeah, because they've got like more justices. Yeah,
They got more of everything, dude.
yeah, dude.
Dude.
Dude. And even that, yeah. But 62% of Americans, that's a lot more than the Democratic Party.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
for sure. I think we can expect to see federal legalization of marijuana at some point. It won't be soon, probably.
Yeah.
Um,
Wait, was it back when we were driving back from OU that we saw the medical marijuana dispensary that was going to get put in?
oh, right,
Yeah,
right.
I think it was.
Yeah, and it was like, this is, keep in mind, Rust Belt, Ohio.
Oh,
very,
yeah.
Very much not, doesn't seem like the kind of place that would have that, you know? So, I didn't even know, is medical marijuana legal in Ohio?
Actually, I think it is.
Yeah, I know there are a lot of states, especially more towards, more out west, than we are, that have recreational marijuana usage legalized as well. So, fun times to be alive in.
Especially if you're the one who's getting high.
That's also true. But I see two options. It's either don't. It's either don't legalize marijuana and marijuana do legal. Well, of course, those are of course the only. Those are literally your only options.
Yeah, it's do or don't.
Yeah, but I see that the only way that could justifiably be justified.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. I am a wordsmith.
Sure.
Ever the deft poet. Is to also like just get rid of everything else that could also harm people, which is asinine in my opinion. You know, you don't. Then you'd have to get rid of alcohol and also tobacco and other things like that. And
yeah, and also medicine because like that shit's got like alcohol in it, you know.
Or legalize marijuana, and I think the path we're on is
more towards the latter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, let's move on to our next topic.
Okay.
There is a show currently on Netflix that I've been watching, and me and much of the country.
I have not personally.
It's called Black Mirror. You've heard of it, I understand.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I've seen a lot of it on Twitter, actually.
Yeah. How much do you know about it?
I know that it's meant to be a Twilight Zone-esque style in its like storytelling, and that it isn't actually storytelling because it's like per episode. But that's about all I know.
Okay, I would have to say that's kind of yeah, that's pretty accurate. It gives you.
Wait, I've also heard it's weird as hell. Proceed.
It's weird, but I really like it. So do a lot of people. If it's popular on Twitter,
people like it.
Yeah, people like it.
Yeah,
or at least people on Twitter like it.
And Twitter is the world.
Oh, right. That's the only social media you need. Twitter.
By the way, I'll be linking our Twitters in the description below.
Now, Black Mirror. Some people call it sci-fi. I think that's inaccurate. It's because sci-fi sort of. I mean, then it gets lumped in the same category as
like Star Wars, Star Trek,
Wars and stuff. Which, in my opinion, aren't sci-fi shows. I think they're science fantasy shows. But we can get into that at another time. Perhaps when the inevitable next Star Wars movie comes out.
God. I'll give it time.
Right. Oh, yeah.
It'll get there.
Absolutely.
Actually, I think the Han Solo movie's supposed to debut this summer?
This summer. Okay. Well, that'd be a good time to talk about it.
Yeah.
Now, Black Mirror is sort of like a warning about technology.
Really?
Yeah. And as you said, it is on like a per episode basis. So there isn't like an overarching story, at least you think. And there will be spoilers. I can assure you while we're talking about this. So if you don't like that. So Black Mirror is in sort of like capsulated stories. In each story, there is a technology that it goes over.
Okay.
A technology that doesn't currently exist, but is probably on the rise or is currently being researched.
So I don't have to worry about it telling me not to use Snapchat, because I live on Snapchat.
not Snapchat in particular.
Okay, cool.
And they cover like the potential bad things that could happen with these certain technologies.
Huh.
The first one I saw was these will be some spoilers for the latest season's first episode. It's called USS Callister. I'll talk about this one because I think this is a good representation of what Black Mirror is all about. I'll talk about this, and this is sort of like the general storyline. Like the plots are kind of similar throughout every story, with some exceptions. But each time surrounding a different technology, different scenarios, different time and place. Sometimes it's a little further into the future than others. This one surrounds a guy who is the CTO, the Chief Technology Officer, I believe that stands for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or like the lead programmer of a really popular video game. Now, Jacob, you've seen Sword Art Online. Yeah.
Yes.
Personally, I saw it the first time, and I loved it. And I saw it a second time, and I realized that it's the worst anime I've ever seen.
You know what? Yeah, that's where you and I differ. All right, I still very much it might just be the fact that it's fueled by nostalgia, but I still very much enjoy that.
Oh yeah.
Anime.
I mean, I like the animation kind of until they get to the CG stuff, but that's not what we're talking about.
No, that's, yeah.
Now, you recall the nerve gear.
Yes.
In Sword Art Online. Probably the coolest part about Sword Art Online is that there are these helmets that you can put on your head.
That's where helmets go.
Yeah, right. For those of you with rocks for helmets, I don't know. The uninformed people always have something to do with rocks, apparently. And that's what they live under.
Is that a key?
Yeah. The nerve gear connects to your nervous system, hence nerve, and gives you sensations about what's going on in the game. And you're basically transported into it almost like a dream.
It's like the ultimate virtual reality experience.
Right. That is the technology that they're operating under, but it's like a little bug that you attach to your temple.
That seems like way easier than putting a freaking helmet on.
Yeah, well, I think it's supposed to be a little bit further in the future than... What is it in Sword Art Online?
2022.
Yeah, 2022. Which they do update the nerve gear in anyway.
Yeah.
For reasons. For a list of reasons.
Just go watch it.
Yeah. So they operate under that same technological premise. This guy is kind of an introvert. Okay. He is as I said, the lead programmer on this game. It's an MMORPG that has to do with like space. So there's a sort of I don't know, Star Trek-esque feel to it, but very kind of like an 80s really dark, like a Tron/Star Trek mix in the game. Well, this guy is a big fan of what is essentially in this universe, the universe of Black Mirror, Star Trek. It's called something else. I can't remember at all. But instead of what's the main ship in Star Trek?
The Enterprise?
Yeah, the USS Enterprise. In this one, they call it the USS Callister. Okay. Now this guy is apparently like a programming genius, I guess, we're led to believe. He has a sort of modded version of the game at home.
Okay.
That he made that better mirrors the fantasies to where he can live out his fantasies of going into the Star Trek-esque thing he really loved growing up, shows. And his last name is Callister. So I believe,
original.
Yeah, and so the ship's called the USS Callister. I want to say that, or that's the name of the ship in the actual show. Can't remember for sure. It's been a while since I've seen it. I'm leaning more towards the second part. But there's sort of a catch with his personal game. It's not hooked up to the outside, to like the online game that he works for. It's instead its own private. It's like on his own private server.
Oh.
Okay. And he is the head of the ship. Okay, so the Captain Kirk, if you will. Never seen Star Trek. I should probably put that out right now. That not a fan of Star Trek or Star Wars. Just never really interested me. But so I'll be saying what I can. In this version of the game, he can take the DNA of his coworkers and put it into a machine that scans the DNA and uploads his coworkers to his game.
What?
Right. Now, they aren't actual coworkers. They aren't like the actual people of it. They're copies of them. But they are so incredibly lifelike that, they are his coworkers. They're just a simulation of it, but a perfect simulation. And a question that comes along in Black Mirror all the time is if a simulation of a person is exactly like them in every way, but they're a simulation, are they a person? And it asks that question a lot. In fact, I would say that's one of the major overarching themes of Black Mirror in general. But I digress. So he puts his coworkers into his personal game.
Right.
He's the captain of the USS Callister, so he bosses them around a lot. He's like a total jerk to them. I mean, just the worst. And because he's a programmer and it's his game, he can inflict any kind of punishment he wants on the people who aren't subservient to him.
Oh.
Yeah. So if you don't submit to him, one of the characters decides that they're not going to submit to him. He snaps his fingers and their mouth disappears, and so does their nose. They can't breathe, but they also can't die. So they're in pain until they heed his orders, or until he's done talking to them. Now, I tried holding my breath. I'm not gonna lie. You know, in movies or shows, someone's drowning or something like that. So you hold your breath with them, and you're just like, I wonder if I could do it. Yeah, I couldn't make it. But at his work, it's almost justified. Almost justified. That's also a common theme in Black Mirror. That his coworkers are huge jerks to him.
Huh.
I shouldn't say almost justified.
So he's like taking out his
pent up aggression.
Yeah, towards them on the characters in game.
Yeah. And it's super interesting. I don't want to spoil the ending of that for anyone. But he becomes a really powerful guy in the game, and he's like bossing him around and all that jazz. But in real life, he's just he's kind of a wimp,
Like us.
Yeah, like us. We're wimps.
Yeah.
He's really nerdy. Hence his obsession with the Star Trek-esque, which I won't remember the name of. I guarantee it. It could be like Callister or something like that.
We can always look it up.
Yeah, it could, but that's also effort.
Oh, well.
That is a good premise, I think. This guy lives out his fantasies in his own personal game, and they try to figure out a way to break out of his game because they are people.
Uh-huh.
There are a lot of episodes like that where people. I mean, if you simulate a person, not only do you have to ask yourself the question of, are they akin to humans? But you also have to ask yourself, they can live forever because they're simulations. So what is an acceptable way to treat them?
Huh.
Right? And before watching Black Mirror, I thought, well, if they're simulations, we can treat them however we want.
Yeah.
I was like, I never really thought much about that. I was familiar with the idea of that, but after watching Black Mirror, I have to say, it's really changed, because if someone is a perfect depiction of a human, you have to question what would make them 100% a human without a doubt.
Huh.
Yeah. right?
Yeah.
What part of people makes them humans? And thus get all the basic human rights that all humans should have.
There's a pretty short answer for that. Did they come out of a vagina?
There is that. But you look at this, and they walk like a human and they talk like a human, so must be a human, right?
Well, yeah,
they just don't have a body.
In a physical sense.
Yeah, in a physical sense. In a virtual sense, they often do.
Yeah. Most of there's like a floating conscience or consciousness.
Sometimes they kind of are. Yeah. Something to think about. I would recommend it. It's not like Twilight Zone in the idea that all the freaky stuff in Twilight Zone come from the supernatural, or at least most of it, I think. Most of it. But in this, it all is derived from technology, like potential technological advancements.
And it kind of seems like Black Mirror is a little more focused on making you think about how you interact with the world around you than just like freaking you out.
Like these technologies could one day be possible. In fact, many of them probably will.
Yeah, and like how we would interact with one another if subjected to those technologies.
Yeah. So you kind of have to ask yourself, what is an acceptable way to use those technologies?
I don't know, but it sounds like I got to start watching Black Mirror.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that question. I will never pretend to know the answers except for the times when I will.
Wow. Intuitive.
Hey, I'm human. I can pretend to know the answers.
Just wait. Technology will outpace you eventually.
They'll know the answers. At the singularity and such. Oh, man. Fun. Just really a family show.
Sounds like it.
It's like, what's that one show that I think there's been a documentary made about it. It's like Mr. something or other. He's really nice to kids and was a kind soul. Do you know at all what I'm talking about?
No.
It's
not even kinda.
I don't care. I never watched it.
Oh, okay.
Well, it wasn't...
Like Mr... Nah, it's not Mr. T. It's Mr. Rogers.
Mr. Rogers, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, oh my god, I got it. Cool.
Yeah. Well, not Mr. Rogers. Only he knows all the answers.
Jesus. Alright, we're gonna move on to our next topic, and this one, well, it's a doozy.
A doozy?
It's not a doozy.
I'm sure. They're all doozies.
Talking about we're gonna talk a little bit about a speech that I'm writing for one of my public speaking classes. I act like I take multiple public speaking classes.
For one of my public speaking classes.
Alright, I'm taking one public speaking class.
It is one of
your
one public speaking class.
That's fair. But it's our final speech, and it's also our biggest. And
loved public speaking, I gotta say.
It's a lot of fun.
I just love speaking publicly. I'm an orator at heart, what can I say?
Oh, wow.
An orator. Yeah.
Anywho, it's our final speech, and it's also our biggest. And I've decided to write about procrastination, but I've procrastinated finishing the outline for it.
Oh, way to give away the ending. Right.
And I give the speech on Tuesday.
Yes.
And I haven't finished writing it yet.
You are, as I understand it, a very wing-it guy, right?
Yeah, but like this thing has to be at least 15 minutes long. This isn't something that I can just do and wing it and kind of hope to get it right. The second speech we did, which was our speech to instruct, which was like a how-to, I just did how to make a villa pizza.
Which you do professionally.
Yeah, I do. I work at a pizza place, so I consider myself a pizza connoisseur.
No.
Yeah.
I'm sure you and everyone in their early 20s consider themselves a pizza connoisseur.
That's fair. But this I don't know. I just kind of like I wrote out in 5 minutes and then did it without really thinking about it. Mm-hmm. But this is going to take some practice.
It's funny. Have you taken the Myers-Briggs personality test?
No.
You haven't?
No.
That's incredible to me. I have. I really love the Myers-Briggs personality test. Not because I think it's accurate, but because it's nice to look at yourself. It's nice to answer questions about yourself and think like, yeah, it's just my answers. You don't think much about them. Like, this is just who I am. And then you get dropped into one of these 16 categories, and you're like, oh, well, that's kind of quick to just 16 categories. Are you telling me there's only 16 kinds of people in the world? Which there aren't. But when you read them back, it's, I have to say, I was taken aback by how accurate it was.
I will have to look into doing that.
Do you know how it works?
No.
I
mean, I get that it
I swear this is going to get back to your
okay.
speech.
And actually, once we do, I'd like to read my introduction because I think it's pretty banging.
Yeah, pretty banging.
Yeah.
It's funny. I think some things I prepare for a lot. Than other things, I'm like, whatever. I'll just wing it.
Yeah.
That's jazz, baby.
Wow.
It's not too late for a jazz. For jazz. I don't want to say reference because it's jazz, but little jazz. Drop the jazz bomb.
Give me
That will forever be a phrase of mine. From now on, dropping the jazz bomb, the J bomb.
JC dropping the J bomb.
Yeah.
Jazz.
The JB, if you will. Now, in the Myers-Briggs personality test, you get separated. They're 4 letters. 4 letters. Almost seems like, 4 letters, true or false kind of thing. A very Boolean value between them. Mm-hmm. You're either one or the other. And thus there are 16 combinations of 4 letters. Well, 8 letters total. Makes sense. First one is E and I. Introverted and extroverted, or the other way around. Mm-hmm. Pretty self-explanatory. You're energized by the presence of other people, or it takes energy from you to be around other people. The next one is N or S. That is intuition or sensing. And this one, to me, is the most confusing one, because it's like intuition is you solve problems based on what you have learned in your past, and sensing is you solve problems or do things by how you perceive them, how they.
So it's more reactive than perceptive.
Yeah. Not really, because perception is also another thing. But it's more like you take the way you get. I don't even want to say get, but consolidate information is you use the information you've known from your past, everything you've learned up until now, or the information that is present right before you. That's what you take.
Huh.
Yeah, you take everything at its face value rather than everything you've learned about it. Huh. Which is, there's not one that is better than the other. You know?
Yeah.
It'd be like saying one personality is worse or better than the others.
Well, I mean, there's a right and a wrong answer here.
Although there is one personality worse and better than the others. But we'll get to that in a minute. The next one is T or F, thinking or feeling. Pretty self-explanatory.
I don't even have to take the test to tell you which one I am for that one.
You're very much an F.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I'm very much a T. I'm pretty much a T.
You're getting to the F stage.
I don't know what that means, but
it means you're getting in touch with your feelings.
All right, so the last one
wow.
is P or J, right? Which of course stands for peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
So like if you're making a PB and J, which do you put more of, the peanut butter or the jelly? I got a P because I prefer peanut butter.
I got a J because I'm a.
You're a jelly guy?
I'm a jelly guy.
Yeah, really.
I mean, it's important to have a proper ratio, but like if there's a splash more, if there is a splash more of jelly on there, it's no big deal, you know.
It's a big deal to me.
Oh really?
My PB and J's can't be too sweet, and in my experience, jam or jelly, whatever you want to call it, maybe those are different things.
They
are.
I don't know.
They are.
Yeah.
Oh. Neat. In seriousness, that was a good one. P or J stands for perceiving and judging, which to me was is a bit of a confusing one, but becomes a lot clearer once it was explained to me that P means you make plans on the fly. J means you come up with a plan and stick to it. Okay.
Wait, so what does P mean again? Perceptive?
Like perception or perceiving.
And then J is
judging.
I don't know why, but for some reason I'm thinking like instead of like quit being a judgy whatever, like perceptive Penelope and judgy Jerry.
Yeah, judgy Jerry. I believe the yeah.
Who'd be such a judgy Jerry?
Judgy Jerry.
Wow, Penelope's exceptionally perceptive today.
Yeah, and for S you'd be like salty Sandra and a know-it-all Noah. That's my name.
Yeah. It's weird because you're also a know-it-all.
I am.
He knows it too.
I do. And isn't that kind of like one of the key parts of being a know-it-all is knowing that you're a know-it-all?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I am the same personality type as Alexander the Great. An idol I look up to a lot.
It's not even an idol that you look up to anymore. You think you're Alexander the Great incarnate, like reincarnate. You're not Alexander the Great reincarnate.
So our personality type.
You're not Alexander the Great reincarnate. Yeah, I rhymed it.
Bit of a stretch, but okay. Our shared personality type is ENTP. I got a P for perception, but I feel that perception has always been something more of a winged man. So if I had to guess for you, okay, perception would absolutely be on there. Because, as we've seen, you procrastinate and then wing it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And that is the hallmark characteristic of a P.
It's also my hallmark characteristic.
It's really your hallmark characteristic, just...
I even procrastinate moving from class to class when we're at school.
That's true. You procrastinate a lot. You procrastinate eating. You and I had dinner together tonight. It was romantic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was hot.
Yeah. And you always order a lot.
Well, that's because I always
you're gonna eat.
No, it's just because I look at the menu and there's so many good choices, and I feel the need to feed.
Cool. The need to feed. You and like mother rats feel the need to feed, or really mammals in general. We're all animals in general. Anyway,
good to know I'm average for a mammal.
What if you told someone you're just like, as a mammal, like someone was asking you about someone, and they're like. And you're just like, as a mammal, they're pretty average. As a human, very unextraordinary. That's going to be in my autobiography as well.
Oh my god.
As a mammal, you're pretty ordinary. Pretty average.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh no, I have the hiccups now.
So back on topic, right? If I had to guess for you, it'd be P, of course. Probably ESFP or ENFP. Can never really tell, but I know the P is for certain, which is exemplified by this speech.
Oh yeah.
Now,
speaking of which,
yeah.
Would you mind if I read my introduction?
I would love if you read your introduction.
Oh, please.
This is to the speech you're doing.
Yes. So this is how I will begin. Because it's the introduction.
Well, it's good to know you have the very first part, the introduction.
And this is actually it's a fairly long introduction, especially if I I'll just do it.
We had how many weeks to do the introduction? You pushed off everything else just to make the introduction perfect.
Yeah, I've had a week to do this, so I haven't pushed it off forever, but I've pushed it off more than I should have.
Mm-hmm. Especially considering you're giving it Tuesday.
Yeah. Oh. So, during my junior year of high school, I took a college composition class. I was told at the beginning that late work was unacceptable, and that in order to do well in the class, I needed proper planning and a good work ethic. I don't have either of those skills, but I thought to myself, oh, it'll be fine, and it was, in the beginning. Week 1 came and went quickly and easily enough, but when we got to week 2, I was just I was so busy, and, it just didn't really happen. But I told myself I would double down when we began to write our first paper, but when that happened, I didn't really write coherent sentences, and then we were a week from the due date. I was 5 weeks of weekly work behind, and I didn't know what to do. All hell had broken loose, and I was sitting in the middle of it with a metaphorical bag over my head. This is what happens to a person who throws caution to the wind and says, I'll do it later. Don't be that person. Procrastination can be a killer of academic success if not kept in check. Today, I'll be going over some reasons why people procrastinate, how it can affect them, and what happens in the mind of a procrastinator. Not necessarily in that order. By the end of this approximately 15 to 17 minute speech, my hope is that you understand that procrastination is not an identity. It doesn't make up a part of you like your laugh or your sense of humor. Procrastination is a choice. So let's maybe get started.
Okay, I like that last part. More funny to me because I have incredibly low standards of humor. But there was a part in your speech you said throw caution to the wind, and what was the rest of that?
Yeah, I'll do it later.
Right. I gotta say, all the daredevils I know, they always start their throwing caution to the wind with an I'll do it later. Yeah, that good. No, that's a cool introduction. I believe you showed me that before, right?
I think I might have read it at Kane's.
All right.
The other day.
All right.
Yeah.
It's good. I like it.
Yeah, me too.
Everyone criticize his speechwriting skills. That was a terrible introduction, say in the comments. Why didn't you bother writing?
Say in the comments.
I didn't even know he was literate, says another.
Oh, wow. Hey, me neither. What up? What up? I'm Jacob. Never mind.
The time has passed.
Indeed.
There is a TED Talk you reference in that
yes.
speech you told me about.
So, I've been judged by so many people so many different times for being into TED Talks, but TED's motto is ideas worth spreading, and TED Talk, or TED in they have ideas worth spreading. Let me tell you,
they sure do. I've also fallen into the trap of TED Talks. Love them. Mm-hmm. And they truly are most of them truly are ideas worth spreading. I would someday like to do a local TED Talk thing.
Yes.
The TEDx's, I believe they're called.
Yeah, it's TED. Yeah,
because it'll be
it's like an independent TED Talk.
Yeah.
We should organize a TEDx thing.
That seems like a lot of work, and we just talked about procrastinating, and
we'll talk about it later. But the TED Talk that I referenced specifically it's called Inside the Mind of a Master Procrastinator by Tim Urban, and let me tell you, that man is a comedy genius.
He also procrastinated his TED Talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something I would do if I was asked to do a TED Talk.
So there's one thing you have in common with him. You talk about procrastinating, but procrastinate writing it down.
I do have to tell you, because I don't even know that I would go to this much. Wow, that was terrible. I don't even know if I would go to these lengths of procrastination. So, he was in college, and he had to write a 90-page thesis during his senior year. And
I think the biggest thing I've ever written was I am, 18. I'll probably have to write something really big at some point in my life. The largest thing I've ever written is probably 20 pages.
Yeah, and this, he was supposed to work on it throughout the entire course of his junior and senior year. And then he wrote it all in 3 days.
90 pages. In 3 days?
He didn't sleep, though.
For 3 days?
Yes, he just wrote for 72 hours consecutively.
Now, I've seen this TED Talk, but I don't remember it very well. I've totally forgot that.
Yeah, so he was he had a graph, and it was like a staircase, and then the second step got larger, and then it was just one step by the end of it. And it was it was just a block of 72 hours. And my favorite part of this whole TED Talk is when he says that he got a call from the university. And,
oh, right, I remember.
And he picks up the phone, and they ask him, "Is this Tim Urban?" And he goes, "Yeah." He said, "We need to talk about your thesis." And he goes, "Okay. Well, it's the best one we've ever seen." That didn't happen. But wouldn't it be cool if it did?
It so would be cool.
Oh my god. That would be fantastic.
Right.
The man, especially in front of a crowd, the man he's a genius.
Yeah. It almost seems like he seemed like he was more of a comedian than a.
But you know what? He got his message across.
Yeah. What were the two personified parts of his brain?
Yes. So I love this, and this is all actually practice for my speech on Tuesday because this is all I'm referencing a lot of this in it. But inside every brain, there is a rational decision maker who sits behind. Picture your mind as a ship, and the rational decision maker is behind the wheel. You know. But there's another guy in the minds of procrastinators called the instant gratification monkey.
Okay.
Okay. And when the rational decision maker says, "All right, it's time to get some work done," the instant gratification monkey goes, "No, we're not doing that."
I'm sorry, but that shouldn't be so funny to me.
The graphic with it is just like the instant gratification monkey jumping on top of the wheel and running.
They're like children's drawings.
Oh,
correct? Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Which further serves to push, really, really, like, drive home his.
Yeah.
I put this off until yesterday.
But the instant gratification monkey fuels procrastination and actions that, while normally would be fun, are instead part of what Tim Urban likes to call the dark playground.
The dark playground.
Yes, the dark play. It's not related to porn, I promise. It's the place where you're doing things that should be fun, but instead of just being fun, it's plagued with like guilt and dread.
Oh, right.
It's
that
like,
makes so much
I
sense.
should be doing this, but I'm doing this instead.
The dark playground becomes much more.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've been to the dark playground many a time.
It is a place I know very well.
I go there and I'm like, hello, darkness, my old friend. The dark playground. What an excellent.
Right? It's a great analogy. And the only thing that the instant gratification monkey is afraid of is the third guy that lives in the mind of procrastinators. And that's... and that is... Listen closely. The panic monster.
It strikes fear into the hearts of procrastinators.
If there was a tree in your mind, when the panic monster wakes up, the instant gratification monkey could just go right up that tree.
Mm-hmm.
And the panic I wish you could see a drawing of this thing, because it is... Imagine just taking a piece of paper and scribbling back and forth in a circle.
It's like one of those monkeys that have the really long arms, right? But like scribbled down on...
Yeah. That's the panic monster. And the panic monster only approaches when there's a deadline or like fear of public embarrassment, when there's something driving what you're doing.
A negative, like a punishment.
A negative consequence, yes. And that is the only thing that the instant gratification monkey is afraid of. And, man, the entire time the audience is just laughing and laughing, and it's fantastic.
I think, in short, go watch the dang TED Talk.
Yes.
It's what, 10 minutes?
I think it's 16.
16? You got 16 minutes. There are, I want to say, 1,400... I think 1,400... No, 1,440 minutes in a day. You can spare 16 of those. Yeah, I'm sticking with 1440.
Yeah, it's 1440.
Cool. I know math. And my days. I also know my days of the week. That one took forever.
Monday, Tuesday.
You can tell that's the second day of the week. Because it's twos. 2. Oh wait, there's Sunday.
When?
When is it? When's the day? Okay, sorry, that's terrible.
That was awful.
Right.
That was terrible. So as much fun as that is, I do believe our time is up.
Yeah, all right. Yes,
so I guess it's time to bring the inaugural episode of the Interlocutors to a close. I have been your co-host, Jacob Chestnut.
And I, your co-host, Noah Miller.
Thanks for listening.
This has been the Interlocutors.